Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. We have had the busiest weekend in, I think, both of our lives, YouTube-wise. We've been spending the past 2 days recording. It is now almost 4 in the morning, and we are just now doing the final review until Tuesday, until the live show on Tuesday. As we speak, 18 reviews are going up on Comic Frontline from Mike and I. There's tons of toy reviews coming, tons of blind box and card openings coming from both of us on Comic Frontline over the next couple of weeks. We're breaking up all the videos and separating them so you get a little bit every week. We have a 3-part toy series that Mike did. I have a lot of things that I reviewed from my haul and other video and other things. There's tons of things that come into your guys' way from Mike and I, and there are other things still in the making that we're going to be working on throughout the week. This week we've got the live show on Tuesday. The Media Madness show is moving to Friday this week. I will not be there, and neither will Michael, but a few of the guys and gals on Comic Frontline will be doing a special Media Madness on Friday. I don't want to spoil it. We'll tell you guys what that special will be on the live show. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go right into the books from this week. These books were released on March 5th, 2014.
The first week of March.
And we are now in daylight saving, so technically it's really almost 2:30 in the morning instead of 3:30, but
So
this is the way. Well, we're close to 4. Regardless, I'm rounding off. Anyway, we're now in daylight saving, so we're an hour ahead where we should stay instead of going backwards an hour.
Oh, please.
Anyway, we're in Marvel first. Night of the Living Deadpool issue 4. Can they end a Deadpool miniseries the right way?
Oh, no.
I mean, come on. Every single Deadpool miniseries that I, try and I'm enjoying and, it's working. Is there anybody who could end a Deadpool miniseries? I should expect this by now. The ending. Okay, Deadpool finds out that he's the reason in the last issue. They used his DNA, so he takes the head of the scientist who worked for, what was the AIM. He goes to the facility where it all happened, where it all began. He goes there, he drinks some type of, he drinks the, potion that brings the dead back to life, and then he has the dead eat him, and all the dead become Deadpool. They all believe they're Deadpool, and all the black and white people are now colored in because they ate Deadpool. And Deadpool's dead. He lets them all eat him.
What?
Yeah, because he drank the potion, so the potion's in his DNA now, and eating him turns the zombies colored.
Yeah, I got that.
And they all think they're Deadpool now. So basically the world is now Deadpool. I'm waiting for Deadpool World. Well, we'll be waiting a long time for that because the next Deadpool mini can't end bad because it's Deadpool versus Carnage. It's the next Carnage miniseries. Oh joy.
Let's see how that's going to go.
The first Carnage miniseries of 2014. I'm so excited. I'm starting to agree with what Mike Spider Slayer said. The less you see of Carnage, the more impactful his appearance is. So far, we've had 3 minis in 2013, and we're heading into miniseries number 1, and we already had a one-shot annual with Carnage. That's already 2. Even though 1 is only a one-shot. We're going into our first mini.
Arc.
Yeah, we're going into our second arc, but first mini-series. More than 1. And let's see if we get another Carnage before the end of the year. Your book is next, and it's a number 1. And you got the Scotty Young variant, in case you didn't like it.
Yes, Magneto issue number 1. I recommend people who are Magneto fans to really read this comic book because, I don't know, I was kind of a little bit not thrilled about this comic book. Like, at first, it's like really, in the beginning, it's like so boring. Like, there's no dialogue, really, just the little square bubbles and everything.
Internal dialogue, I call it.
The internal dialogue.
Because it's thoughts. It's really his thoughts.
Right. And basically, he's just talking about things that he wants to do with, like saving, like the past, like the past, like not causing the future and everything. And he's trying to tell people that he's not dangerous and all that other stuff because he's being very nice, which is why I didn't actually believe to see the part of Magneto side of him. So then he goes to meet a killer who did a murder at the prison and everything.
Oh no, is he going to become like the Punisher?
No. Like, he uses his powers and everything, Magneto, and then it's just the ending where...
I like the black suit.
Yeah, the black suit, actually. I didn't show that part, actually. Which is, looks really nice. He goes to meet the killer, and he just wants to talk to him, and he's trying to say, you know, that he never meant to do what he did, so... He's a robot that does mutant identify, designate Magneto. So basically, the killer is the one that terminates mutants.
He's a Sentinel.
Yeah, basically. So Magneto and the Sentinel fight each other, and he's just like saying, you know, he couldn't stop himself, and that was really the whole basis of the book.
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know much about Magneto as much as, you know, as a origin story. I mean, the beginning was a little bit boring. Just, you know, with the internal stuff. But then when he goes to meet the killer who turned out to be a Sentinel, that kind of was a little bit interesting. So it's up to you guys. If you're a Magneto fan, you'll definitely pick this up. And if not, then you won't. That's all I can say.
And then my trust in Moon Knight, issue number 1, was a little shaky, so I got the Scotty Young variant as well. Either we get this, if we're shaky on series, we're either going to be getting the Scotty Young variants or the Animal variants, as long as the Animal variants are the exact same price, just like the Scotty Young.
I might get the Scotty Young issue 2 if they have that.
No, the issue 2 will go to regular cover.
Oh, it's only one?
It's only the first one.
Oh, I thought it was, okay, never mind.
But Scotty Young's going to be doing the Rocket Raccoon internal artwork.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. So anyway, before we get off track, Moon Knight. Oh, Animal variants. We'll get anything as long as it's the same price as the initial comic. We're not going to pay $12.99 for an Animal variant. So only the ones that stay the regular price. Anyway, Moon Knight. It turns out in this book we get, of course, don't forget you need those magical reading gloves, because if you don't have them...
Ah, now you're taking my idea of the gloves.
Well, Kat mentions it all the time now, and Mike mentions it all the time too.
Comic gloves is
I mean, this is disgusting, Marvel. Are you listening to your fans? I mean, seriously, do you understand? Your printers suck. Get somebody else to do your covers. Because every other comic from every other company doesn't have this problem except you. Do you understand? Probably not. Anyway, if anybody out there who works with Marvel or in Marvel, somebody get this message to the heads at Marvel. Your covers suck. Thank you. Anyway, but then again, people are moving away from the print copies, which sucks. So Moon Knight is back in New York City. And straight away, he's on a case. And he goes on this case. There's what was it? There was a slaughter, and they think it's another slasher. And you see Moon Knight come in. He's like a detective. He comes in. He looks at all the things. He's like, this guy isn't doesn't have any type of medical background. He's not picking his targets. He sits there and he just all this through his head. He just goes through it all like a detective. He's like a Batman, so to speak, because he's sitting there and he analyzes the entire crime scene, and already realizes this target was. The person who's doing the slaughtering is in the area. He can't go far. He can't really walk. He walks with a limp. And this was an ambush, and he's not picking his targets like a slasher. This is more of a pick target for some reason. He doesn't know where, but he's like, wherever this person is, he's in the subterranean. So he ends up going underground. I like this page. And I like the way they do Moon Knight, and I want to show why. Because when Moon Knight is in his clothes, it's like basically the entire comic is colored except for him. So he's like the sketch variant in the book, even though he's not. So he finds the person, not going to spoil who he is, and after a bit of dialogue or origin of who this person is, well, it really doesn't matter, because in the end Moon Knight basically incapacitates him, or he incapacitates himself. I don't know, but I like Moon Knight's personality. We then jump back before, it says before New York, and we find out that Moon Knight is not suffering from split personality disorder. His brain is being colonized by an ancient consciousness from beyond space and time. So, no split personality, and he's not crazy either. I'm trying not to touch this cover because I'm afraid I'm going to lose more ink this way. And it kind of ends with him sitting in a room, coming face to face with somebody whom I'm not going to spoil till the next issue, which tells you guys I'm coming back for Moon Knight issue number 2. This is definitely interesting. I just hope, James, I just hope that this is not going to be one of those story arcs that's a long story arc. I hope it stays nice and contained.
Yes.
To a couple of issues. But it looks interesting, and hopefully this series will last more than 6 issues. We'll see. A lot of people don't have faith that Moon Knight can make it past 10. So let's hope that Moon Knight at least makes it past 15.
We'll find out.
So, number 2.
Yes, and this one was actually really good. Loki, Agent of Asgard, issue number 2. Now that Loki has the whole thing of what happened in last issue with the whole red thing and all that stuff, the funniest thing about Loki is that he's actually speed dating. No joke. He is actually speed dating with this girl named Lorelei.
Lorelei?
Lorelei.
Lorelei.
No, and here, no, it gets even better. It gets even better.
Oh, it gets even better.
He talks to her all about his story about meeting Amora, the enchantress, who, you know, they were like together, and then she fell for Thor, and then this whole thing. It was just like really funny, and it goes 3 weeks prior where he's talking to the mother. I mean, it was just so weird. The artwork was great, though, by the way. And basically, it's just like the whole thing of just him talking to her about it, of meeting her and all that. So he goes to like these places, and then there's these 3 women, and one of the women who shoot up the place was actually in disguise as Loki, who was the brunette right here. To find out, like, he's a shapeshifter, obviously. And there was just like a whole big scene where they're talking to each other, and like him and Lorelei, like, they didn't really get along that much, and then he's like telling I mean, not Lorelei, Amora. That's what I meant. So he tells Lorelei that, you know, that he's not a liar because every person that Lorelei's ever been with was always a liar. So when he meets with Amora, he actually said, this whole speed dating, it was a bad night, and she hears about it, which he knows already that he is a liar. So next issue, if you meet the giant on the road, kill him. Which is, I have no idea why they say that as the next issue, but to be honest with you guys, I found this to be a very funny and a little bit weird comic in a great way, actually. So, Loki speed dating and telling her the story of him and Amora. Funny.
Interesting. We're going into space now. Well, not yet. Semi-space. New Warriors issue number 2. So the New Warriors are slowly... See, the first issue, I understand why everybody said the book was all over the place. I figured this is exactly what was going to happen as we proceeded forward with this first story arc. As you guys see in this issue, all those separate paths are slowly coming together. You have Justice and Speedball, who end up in New York looking up who the evolutionaries are because they attacked both of them in New Salem, and they barely escaped that attack. And then they go to Avengers Tower, where we get the whole, it's an Avenger world now from Jarvis, and really Justice and Speedball are just there to find out about the evolutionaries. Goes back in time where, I love this. If you have no idea who the evolutionaries are, if you didn't read Uncanny X-Men before the schism and everything, right here, you have a video of Cyclops from a couple of years back explaining to you guys the story arc that the people like us who read, basically they're telling you the entire story arc about who the evolutionaries are, what their plan was, and how the X-Men stopped them, but one had escaped. And then there's a threat in New York, and that is exactly where, what's her name? this kid named Mark, who is an Inhuman, and Sun Girl are. And Sun Girl's fighting the Evolutionaries because they want to kill the mutants that... they don't want to kill Sun... wow, I lost it again. Sun Girl, because she's human. They want to kill the mutants that she's trying to protect. She doesn't like that. She fights back. They go after her. Mark shows up, who's an Inhuman, has a horn on his head. And then Speedball and Justice show up. The Evolutionaries retreat. And then you get 2 pages of where Nova is. And Nova's actually in the presence of one of the High Evolutionaries. And yeah, things are going on. Also, there is a couple of pages with Kane in here. And Hummingbird.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
And they meet up with, what's her name? It's in the front of the book. Water Snake. And they think that Water Snake did the killing. She didn't. It turned out it was the Evolutionaries. They were attacking, where was it? Oh, come on. Kane made fun of it, for God's sakes. Lemuria, but then the Evolutionaries come out of the water, and that's where they leave you off with Kane. So some of the team is still separated, but we all know in the end all of them are going to come together to stop the Evolutionaries, and the New Warriors will be formed. But it's coming together just slowly. Remember, guys, the New Warriors are going to form probably throughout the story arc, so it is going to be a little separated at first, and then it's going to slowly condense itself into one story, one straight path with the New Warriors versus the Evolutionaries. First issue was all over the place. All the different members that were going to be part of the New Warriors were everywhere. Now slowly it's coming finally together. It's getting better as we move forward, and things are starting to close up. Nova, issue number 14 now. Nova is in space with Beta Ray Bill, and they're looking for Scarn. Why can't I pronounce this guy's name?
Scarn.
The artwork does change. It's not the same artist from the last issue. However, it's not bad art either, though. And we find out that Beta Ray Bill, before he became Beta Ray Bill, well, if you didn't know this, I'm sure this happened in a previous comic years ago that I don't know about, but he was actually saved by a Nova before he became Beta Ray Bill. And then it turns out nowhere. Remember when Skarn said that he was going to nowhere? Mm-hmm. It turns out nowhere is actually here. There is an actual place called Nowhere. And Beta Ray Bill goes in undercover. He finds him. However, Skarn says, if you don't let me go, I'll murder all the people on my ship, all your people on my ship. And then oh God, what's this machine called? The Warbringer machine goes after Sam, and Sam basically kicks his butt in a couple of pages. And then, basically, to save Beta Ray Bill's people, Beta Ray Bill and Nova have to agree to be teleported all the way to the other side of the galaxy so Skarn can escape. And basically Nova is faking his being. And we also get a hint of another Earthling called Cosmo. And we find out who Cosmo is at the end of the issue. And I'm not going to spoil who he is. You got to read this book. This book was a very interesting book. So, Beta Ray Bill is somewhere out there. We don't know where. He's probably on his way back to save Sam.
Probably.
Sam is on Skarn's ship now, and he wants to stop Skarn. And Cosmo. Not going to say. I'm sure a few people know who this character is. Maybe it's a known character, maybe it's not. I don't know. But this is shaping up to be a very interesting story arc. Artwork change, I didn't mind it that much. I mean, I did like the artist that was before. I forgot his name. But his artwork was very Ed McGuinness-esque. This artwork is more of its own art, which is fine. It still was a very interesting read, a very good read. No complaints about the artwork at all, actually. It was really good. But can't wait to see what happens next in Nova.
And my book of the week, the all-new Marvel Now, The Punisher, issue number 3.
Shocking.
Very shocking. The Punisher versus Electro. The whole thing, and I know why Electro is going after the Punisher. Because Senor Del Sol assigned him to go after the Punisher so that way he doesn't get more information. So basically, that's why Electro was going after the Punisher. And I heard a lot of Marvel U characters he's going to meet, actually, throughout this series. I read the letters in the ending, so that's going to be really something. But without getting off track, him and Electro fight each other, and 3 hours later after that, he talks with, what's his name? Can't remember. Tugs. Yeah. He talks to Tugs about this Electro guy. And he's like saying how that the Dull Souls must have figured out that he was a threat to them, taking all their drug money away and everything, and so he's just got to find the supplies and destroy it. Is basically what he's saying throughout there. Meanwhile, Electro has a talk with I forgot what this guy is like. Basically, he's I think the leader of the Dulso. Guillermo. Guillermo. You know, like how he's saying, you know, Guillermo's like saying we're untouchable and there's no other way that, you know, he can defeat us and everything. And still with the mask, with amazing artwork as always, he's going after them and he gets the other people out, but Electro comes in the end, and he says that he's going to bring him to Mr. Del Sol, who would like to have war with him, and he's going to make sure that the Punisher answers him. So it is a big, huge shocker than the last issue. But,
Comic gloves, huh?
Yeah, comic gloves. I told you. On my Book of the Week cover. Nice. But yeah, I recommend it to all of you who have been reading the
Anybody out there who talks to Marvel, please tell them about their horrible covers.
Yeah.
And we're paying $3.99 for their books. Most of their books are $3.99. So that's bullshit for a $3.99 cover. But anyway, the book that just ended last week begins again. Wolverine and the X-Men, #1. Basically volume 2. New semester, or actually it's the summer semester right now. This the main difference from Volume 1, which was the previous volume, and this volume is Volume 1 focused a lot on Wolverine and the X-Men being the teachers to these students, while these students also were main characters in Volume 1. This time around, the teachers kind of take a little bit more of a back step, and the main stars of this book are the students from Volume 1. So basically the roles reverse, where it was mostly Wolverine teaching the students and, you know, you're watching from Wolverine more. Now it's switching where you're seeing Wolverine still, and, you know, he's still got a role in it, but now we're more into the student body. I feel like the book is mainly going to be around Heidi and Quentin and Evan at some point. And we get, right off the bat, I have a feeling that we're going to have some time travel in here somewhere, because the future is very bleak. And when I say very bleak, I mean, you guys saw this in the preview, very bleak. Quentin Quire Phoenix versus Evan Apocalypse. So, and even in the very beginning, Heidi's right here, and she's like, somebody has to go back, somebody has to, they have to stop, shoot, it was on page 1, I think. What would you give to erase it to see the damage undone? So that the only way to undo the future is to travel back or into the present from the future and change something. So at some point, it's going to happen. Time travel will probably happen, and hopefully it will, because, spoiler alert, in this future...
time travel to happen for once?
There's a reason. In this future, Wolverine's dead.
Now that is necessary time traveling.
But there's supposed to be something big that happens in Wolverine in this September.
Oh.
And it's called Mortal.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. So Quentin is now a student teacher. Yeah, I know. We get introduced.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh.
We get introduced to a few new students at the school, and we also get to see Wolverine as Patch. And Wolverine is inside the block, an internal prison, and he's there for one specific person. Aurora, who is now the headmistress because Kitty Pryde left and went to Cyclops' side, she's the headmistress, and she leaves the Quentin in charge of the students. Apparently, Beast is in space with a couple of the older students on a class outing, so to speak, so he's going to be away for a couple of weeks. And basically, the whole school is turning upside down, and basically, Storm is blaming Quentin, and he's like, "You're blaming me? This is my fault." And then he's very upset because everybody expects him to be a certain way, and he just wants to be himself.
Hey, look, this.
Either people, yeah, I know. Thanks for spoiling it.
Oh.
He says people either say I'm the villain or the good guy. I want to just be myself, and he actually gets pushed by one of the students, and he wants to fight back, but instead he actually turns and walks away. But he's sick of everybody because everybody knows that he's going to become the Phoenix. And he says, everybody thinks I'm going to become the Phoenix, I'm going to be this person, and everybody already knows that I'm going to be this great guy, so they're taking, you know, I forgot how he put it, but he had an argument about it, and he's just sick of it, and he ends up walking away. And Wolverine, who was in the block, he was there to get Phantom X. He wants to bring Phantom X to the school, he needs his help. And he brings Evan along to try to convince Phantom X, and we kind of get left off there where Phantom X is telling Evan that's where he belongs, not in the school. And then you get the whole weeping of Quentin Quire, and then out of nowhere the Phoenix symbol shows up all over the school. To be continued. And that's the long and short of it. There's a ton of dialogue. There's stuff with Rock Slide that happens in here, and the dialogue from Beast is kind of interesting also. Once again, guys, this is setting up to be awesome. Why this couldn't be issue 43 of Wolverine and the X-Men instead of opening up a brand new volume, I have no idea. Once again, Marvel is just afraid to intimidate new readers. And Marvel has to remember, you know, new readers don't show up every 2 seconds of, you know, the year. New readers come on and they have people like us on YouTube who are telling them when the perfect jumping on point is. And there's tons of history. I have comic reviews from back in 2011. If people really want to get into a comic series, I'm sure they can find it on one of our reviews. If not mine, there are tons of other reviewers out there. New readers don't have to be as intimidated anymore because we have this wonderful invention called the internet. If they're not going to want to watch us review the books, they're going to go on Wikipedia and get the information. Yeah. It's not that hard. Yeah, Wikipedia has a lot of good information when it comes to comics.
But I heard rumors sometimes it's false.
They can go on websites. They can go on personal websites. They can go on Google. So it's very hard to intimidate a new reader when there's an endless amount of resources where they can go back and read what's been going on in that comic series. Yeah. Endless amount of resources. There's a freaking website that outlines Amazing Spider-Man #1 all the way through to 700. Outline every single 700 issues worth of the Amazing Spider-Man. Plus.
That's crazy, but
so there are resources out there in Marvel. You don't have to keep renumbering your series. And in some cases buffing up the price an extra $1 and then basically saying, hey, you can get a free digital copy because we buffed up the price. That doesn't cut it anymore.
Well, that's the all new Marvel now.
Exactly. At least DC gives us the option. $3.99 for a digital code or $2.99 and you don't get the digital code. I'm sorry, Marvel. Saying we're giving you a free digital download doesn't work, especially when the website you're giving us a free digital download from erases everything after, like, what, a year? Because my entire library is now empty for some weird reason.
Wow.
Yeah, it erased itself. I don't know if somebody hacked or whatever. Anyway, guys, that's the buzzer. Stay tuned. When we come back, we will go into DC Comics. So we will be right back after these messages. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. We are now in DC Comics. Swamp Thing issue 29. The Wolf and Lady Weed escape. Well, they don't escape. They sneak away because they want to get into the Wolf and Weed don't like that they're basically prisoners in the house that Swamp Thing has them living in. They want to go
Are you
out into
talking
the
about
world,
the
and the
House
wolf
of
has
Mystery
tons of...
before
No,
you
not
say
the
that?
House of Mystery.
Okay, good.
So, and also we get introduced to the Serene, who, from the beginning of the issue, you say there's something up. I'm sorry, but if the writer wanted to keep us from being shocked at the last couple of pages, it didn't work. You could tell something's up from this page alone. Even when one of the elder Avatar, when Jonah says, "Oh, the Serene are, you know, good people," I was like, yeah, I don't think so. And Concubine finds out that it's actually Jonah who offered her sanctuary all those years ago. And you have the wolf and Lady Weed walking around in New Orleans, and the wolf is looking to make his fortune back or get back to where his life was before he became an avatar. There's a whole thing with the Serene that I'm leaving out on purpose because I don't want to bore you guys. But Swamp Thing finds out that the wolf and Lady Weed are gone. He asks Concubine and Jonah to go find them and bring them back. They leave. And Jonah, when he says, "Don't worry about the Serene," they're, oh, what was it? Oh, Swamp Thing believes that the Serene are basically harmless. That's another clue that things are about to go wary. So basically, he wants to know what the Serene's do, and they actually tell him there's a ritual where they can take Swamp Thing and put him in a human body, and he can walk around in that human body for a set amount of time. You see where this is going already, right? So he does it. However, the Serene aren't exactly who they say they are. Who didn't see that coming? I mean, you didn't read the book and you saw that coming.
I did, actually.
And things don't look good for Swamp Thing. Who didn't see that coming? So he can't jump back into his body, though, because the fake Serene people, or at least the Serenes, who aren't exactly as harmless as he thought, took his body away.
Did he even know that they were bad people?
They made him... I don't know what they're doing to Swamp Thing, but they're making him damn stupid.
I know, I'm like saying, are you that stupid not to... And then giving... Ugh.
He wanted to be human for a night so he could actually sleep in a bed.
It's like the thing giving with Dr. Doom with the whole Fantastic Four in that first movie.
It's like, dude, seriously, you want to sleep in a bed? As Swamp Thing, sleep in a bed. You want to feel a heartbeat again? Do you really trust these people who you just met?
Yes, complete strangers.
I mean, I don't like the way he was written here. He was written... I mean, Charles Soule has been doing a good job with Swamp Thing, but with this issue, he made Alec Holland look like a complete idiot. This guy's a scientist. You mean to tell me he couldn't see the signs that there's something up? I mean, the Parliament didn't want any of the avatars to know about the Serene. Come on! There were a million signs throughout this entire book. Don't trust whatever they want to do. And what does he do? He trusts them. And what happens?
He gets
his ass handed to him. Or taken away from him, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Technically.
I don't like how dumb they're making Alec Holland lately. I don't know. I hope it picks up. I really do. Batman Detective Comics 29. Okay. Okay. No.
Okay,
Gothopia was supposed to be this big story arc, right? This huge story arc that it's so big it went into Batwing, Catwoman,
and all the other bad types.
Birds of Prey, and everything else, right?
Right.
So, after the last issue, Batman is stuck with a choice. Basically, the Bat family are under Scarecrow's control. And if Batman doesn't want to see any of them hurt, he has to allow Scarecrow to poison him. And the poison basically is not just a toxin. The toxin will stick Batman into his worst fear and also make him completely and utterly a drone to Scarecrow. But what Scarecrow doesn't know, and literally it says it one page later, is that Batman has the neurotoxin, or the he injected himself with the antidote to anything Scarecrow throws at him. So basically he's just pretending to be under Scarecrow's control, so this way he can figure out how to stop whatever Scarecrow's doing and basically free everybody from not only the scare toxin, but the euphoria toxin. And basically they're going after innocent people, and Batman kind of tricks them, and instead of subjecting evil people to Scarecrow's fear gas, he subjects criminals to the fear gas. And it turns out when the fear gas, they use it to take some type of a serum out of the blood, and the extraction basically it says, as it's happening, Batman just says, I'm glad I took the toxin and it says it the next page. A counter agent in the, he put a counter agent in the toxins, and once they were dispersed, guess what they did, everybody? It woke everybody up. In literally one book, Scarecrow failed. Batman beat Scarecrow and gave him a taste of his own medicine by giving him the euphoria kind of toxin, but he knows it's not going to last long. Catwoman asked Batman about, you know, the whole, when they were under the euphoric toxin, if he remembers them being, you know, together and happy. And Batman remembers, but he doesn't want to say it. So he actually says, I saw a safe Gotham, and that's all I remember, and that's all I want. And then he goes right back to work. This story arc did not need to cross over with every single Batman book. I can understand Zero Year more than I can understand Gothtopia. The entire problem, or the entire, you know, the whole issue was taken care of in one issue. Literally, it was 2 issues of setup, and then this. The final issue, it all found, Batman solved and saved everybody in one issue. That's it. The first issue, they were under the euphoric toxin. The second issue, Batman snapped out of it, but he stayed in Arkham Asylum to kind of try to figure out what's going on. And then this issue, it took 1 issue for Batman to save the day. That's not a story arc. That's not a story arc that needs... I bit my tongue when I was talking. That's not something that needs a crossover. Really?
Especially with all the unnecessariness.
I don't even know if I'm coming back to Detective Comics after this one, guys. I mean, it depends what the next story is, but...
Is it Gothtopia?
No, it's over. Gottopia's over. It's going into a new story now.
Oh, so if it's a new story, maybe it might get better. Well, let's see.
We'll see.
Better.
But man, guys, I don't know. It did not need the crossover it got with all the Bat books. I just think they're looking for any excuse to have a crossover within the Bat books now. Batwing issue 29, however, which came out of Gothtopia, the story, like it continued from Gothtopia a little bit. So Batwing's 2 sisters are missing, his young sister and his older sister. However, in this issue, his older sister is found, and Alfred's actually afraid of Luke kind of turning to the dark side because of all that's going on with his family. So they find Tamara, and it turns out Tamara's been taking some type of a drug for X amount of time, and now she's brain damaged, and she's going to require lifelong care. Luke is now worried for his little sister, and he goes to where Tamara was found, which was in a fun house, and apparently in this fun house is the entrance to some type of an underground civilization. Yes, ooh. By the way, I thought this was ooh also.
Yeah, I was actually looking into that, maybe for a review purpose.
You were looking into buying this?
Probably.
Oh, nice. So Batwing is in this subterranean world now, and it's a very interesting subterranean world. He is angry, and he is not thinking clearly, because now he wants to find his little sister, because he's scared what's going to happen to her, or what's happening to her. So he goes in without thinking. He ends up saving, he interferes, he ends up saving this woman and her child from these pharaoh-like people, and then it turns out that there's like millions of them. And Luke is now in over his head. And I'm going to save the last page, but let's just say there are giant monsters in this subterranean world also. That's the long and short of it, but at least Batwing is doing good. Because it's following its own story now, and it's not connected to any Gothtopia nonsense that we were unfortunately subjected to. And I want you to notice something. Batwing is not even part of the people that were taken over.
Oh, he was...
Look, do you see Batwing?
No.
Exactly. Because Batwing was too busy in this. So... we'll see what happens in the next issue. But Batwing is definitely going strong. If you guys have not been reading Batwing, where have you guys been? Green Lantern 29 definitely picked up. Because finally, we've been saying Hal Jordan is so stupid. They're doing Hal Jordan so wrong. His personality's out there. Finally. finally, we're getting that shining green light of hope.
Oh, thank you, God.
Exactly. At least one Green Lantern book is now picking
Will, really, because green is Will.
Mike Quiet.
Well,
anyway,
hope.
Hal is on Earth, only temporary, to see his brother and tell him goodbye. The Green Lanterns are going to war, and unfortunately, I lost this space sector, so I can't be a Green Lantern on Earth right now, or maybe ever again. And then he introduces his brother to Simon Baz, and he says they say their farewell. He's like, I have to go to war, and hopefully we'll win. I'll send word to Simon. And then I love the dialogue here where his brother says, my kids watch you on the news sometimes. You and that little squirrel lantern you pal around with. He's like, yeah, what do they say? They miss seeing their Uncle Hal. Because Hal hasn't been on Earth since he left the Justice League.
Right. Since
becoming the leader of the Green Lantern Corps. So then we're on Mogo, where we're getting like 2 pages only of Saint Walker. We know that at some point Saint Walker is going to don the blue ring again, but for right now he's not. And then there's the whole big dialogue that Hal Jordan has with Selak and Mogo and 2-6, where he says, I've been stupid. We lost the space sector. We got infiltrated. People don't trust us anymore. Now it's time we start taking it back. And the next thing he says is, I'm used to... and then Selak says, what are you asking for? He's like, I'm asking for help. I need your... Selak. When it comes to Selak, he needs his brains. Kilowog, he's trained generations of lanterns, and no one is respected more than he is. So he's asking basically the other lanterns for help. And then they kind of formulate a plan, and they figure out where the machines are coming from, because the Durlans didn't make the machines. It was somebody else. And they go to the planet Goal, where Noel Ange and her clan are the ones actually making the weapons for the Kun, but we knew that already. Hal Jordan shows up, bit of a fight breaks out, and instead of, they want he tells them, you used to be friends with the Green Lanterns, what happened after the long fight? And they're like, you're draining the light of the universe, and as long as you wield those rings, we will stand against you. And then, what's his name? One of them says, do we arrest the whole planet? And he's like, no. If we arrest the whole planet, then we are tyrants. Because they all believe that the Green Lanterns are tyrants. He's like, we're going to leave them in peace. And, we're going to prove that we're not the bad guys that everybody thinks we are. And then he says, and also we have to worry about the spy that's still hiding out on Mogo. That's more important. And we actually get to see the spy. And the spy can't keep his form anymore. He's having trouble. So, going to be very interesting to see when the Green Lanterns find him, or when Mogo finds him, or when somebody finds him. Definitely picked up. I like Hal Jordan's attitude now. Now I understand it was done on purpose. However, this is not going to save New Guardians. I dropped that book like it was hot. That book was terrible.
Hey, that's what I say.
Doesn't matter. I dropped it. Green Lantern Corps I decided to hold on to because there's a lot of glimmering hope that the Sinestro Corps is going to show up in that book. And I want to be there when that happens. So I'm holding on to the other 2 Green Lantern books. But finally, after so long, we get the Hal Jordan that we've all missed for so long. Earth 2, issue 21 felt like a quick read for me. I loved it. I'm loving this story so much. Tom Taylor is doing an excellent, excellent job with Earth 2. But right now, it feels like Superman is destroying the world armies, and all Batman is doing is hiding out in his Batcave. Also, we get to see the Atom lose an arm at the hands of Superman. So Lois, a.k.a. Red Tornado, she's had enough. She's like, we can't just stay here and we can't wait. We have to figure out a plan. We have to stop Superman or whatever this thing is. And it turns out that all the Earth armies, have a retreat where they were all retreating to, and there's only one fallback, one final fallback, and that's Amazonia. And that's where most of the agents are, and basically all of them need medical treatment. And then they're cut off from... Protocol Project Beyond happens, and all the rich and wealthy people get on this big space ark. Basically, they leave Earth because Earth is doomed, and Superman finds the space ark, and, well, not a good thing happens.
Yep.
But then the Commander Khan actually contacts Atlantis and wants to know, why the government alliance is broken, and basically he finds out that Aquawoman is free, and also he finds out that Jimmy Olsen's free, and basically basically Batman has a plan, but it involves needing the help of the Earth armies, and then we jump into where what's this guy's name is? I forgot this guy's name. Bedlam. Where Bedlam has control over Mr. Terrific, Sloane, and Mr. Miracle. And they're formulating something to bring all the people from Apocalypse, the beings from Apocalypse, to Earth. And he finds out something deep, deep in Sloane's mind. And it turns out that he finds out there's another Kryptonian, and he reports it to Superman. And Superman's not happy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And the cover, don't let the cover fool you. The only scene that you get to see Dr. Fate in is one small scene, and he's still out of his mind because of what happened with the helmet cracking and whatnot. So, things aren't looking good for the Earth Army, but it looks like finally we're getting a plan put into play against Superman. So, go Batman finally.
Alright. I have two Book of the Weeks from DC Comics, actually, because they were really excellent. Starting with Green Arrow, the Outsize War Book 4, the Prague Offensive of Green Arrow, issue number 29. It was just, like, this book, it just keeps getting more and more amazing, where it talks about how Komodo told his daughter, what's her name? Emmy, that her mother died, but then she's like actually saying with the whole crowd, because he's the head of the clan, that Shadow is with Green Arrow, because he wanted her to believe that Green Arrow, or really his father, were the ones that were behind killing his mother. So now he lets Emmy to kill Green Arrow someday. So here's Green Arrow with his missions. The artwork is still really drawn epically. And he fights off with the people, the outsiders actually. Like, he fights along with them, and he uses this nice technique right here with the arrow. And he just wants to know where Komodo is, and he's at the cathedral. So he needs to find the cathedral where Komodo is. Then we get a little dialogue where Digger wants to talk to Talkman about fighting against or wanting Richard Dragon and stuff like that. If you want to read more about that, you can read the book. So Amiko wants to go with Komodo to kill Green Arrow, since he knows that Green Arrow is looking for him. And so they have a fight scene, and Emmy was going to kill Green Arrow, and I have to spoil this. Komodo kills Green Arrow.
Or so it looks.
Or so it looks, because next issue it says the death of Green Arrow.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know if they're going to do the whole thing like a death of Green Arrow, or maybe he's going to come back to life somehow in the next one, but oh wow. The only reason why I gave this book of the week, because the whole storyline of the whole thing with Komodo, like, you know, with the whole daughter, that you have to kill him because of the mother. She actually found out the mother's alive, and then he's like saying, you know, like, I didn't mean to lie to you, but the whole Green Arrow thing, it just took my breath away. Definite 5 out of 5.
This is interesting. Superman Action Comics 29. Congratulations, Greg Pak. You finally made a part that actually stuck out to me.
What?
You actually get to see Superman caring in this book.
You're joking.
Greg, no, I'm actually. You should have read
In
this
Action
book.
Comics?
Yeah, it finally happened.
Oh,
So
wow.
basically, the rats that he saved in the previous book, in the previous issue, they get killed by the ghost. I forget what his name is. The ghost soldier.
Yeah. What was his name?
I can't remember, but anyway, after all those deaths and what's his name says it's his fault, Superman kind of snaps, so to speak, and he tries to fight him, but it doesn't work because he's a ghost. So then he uses his super breath, and yeah, he's able to actually freeze him, and then he actually. The tower is very popular in the Superman books right now. In Superman, Clark Kent's looking for information on the tower, and in Action, Superman's actually fighting against the tower, finally. And the dialogue between him and Lana is amazing. You'd swear to God that, I swear, if I wasn't so hell-bent on seeing Lois and Superman back together, I would say Lana and Clark would work perfectly. But in the end, I know that Lana's going to go her way and Superman's going to go his way. That's just the way Lana and Superman are. I mean, I doubt they're going to write Lana into Clark's life, you know, permanent as a mainstay.
I don't know. Let's see.
But it turns out Bach is actually a prince. I was shocked with that. And then apparently there's these jets that are coming from the tower to stop Superman and destroy the... I don't know, they're from the tower, basically. Superman shows up, and then the orb they tried to protect, it cracks. And the thing and the animal dies. And you get, oh my god, Superman actually has emotion again.
Wow.
And I love the internal dialogue between Lana and Superman in this book. I mean, it actually feels like you're actually reading something very close to the old Superman. So... actually, Greg Pak has done a very good job trying to channel the old Superman while keeping the aspect that we are in the new 52. But he's done a good job channeling the old Superman in this book a little bit. And Superman is heading straight for...
Oh.
Basically, Lana's like, it's okay to cry. And Superman looks up, he's like, I got a better idea. And he goes head first to the tower. And in the next issue... we get to see who exactly Harrow is and what the secrets of the tower are.
So
Go Superman, I hope he tears the tower down.
Or uses heat vision, basically.
But this was a really good issue. It actually kept my memory. If it keeps my memory, it's a good issue at this point with Superman. We're now in the Forever Evil. We have 3.
Blight. Actually,
You're in Blight. Mike's
yes.
going into Blight.
Another book of the week. Forever Evil, Blight, Trinity of Sin, The Fam Stranger, issue number 17. In last issue, when I saw Spectre, I'm like saying, please don't let it be another disappointing comic book. But it wasn't, actually. So, the Spectre meets up with Fam Stranger, Pandora, and Cassandra Croft, and they were going to have this fight against them, but the resurrection of the Chris guy comes in, and he just talks to Fam Stranger about, you know, basically he was like the dog that told him to work for him and all that, and to go his way with the mission and everything. And here's some artwork, which looks very excellent.
Are you really going to get that Batarang?
I'm really thinking about it. So they go to Las Vegas to this casino where they're beneath the skin of the world, where every person is like acting weird and stuff like that. And Fam Stranger goes to the to Burroughs, Surge, and Ruskoff, and he actually betrayed them in the Fam Stranger issue number 6, which I didn't read, so I really don't know how he betrayed them, so to say. So he's actually asking them for help, actually, for them to work with him, but in exchange he has to give away the coins that are around his neck, you know, like the symbol that's the betrayal of the Lamb of God and all that. And at first he doesn't want to give it to them, so then things get very like intense and everything, and then after a while when he was going to let the tower come down, he actually gives him the coins to make him bigger and stronger, but he sees stuff that he didn't want to see, so he said to take it off because it was him suffering with guilt and sorrow, basically. So, with all that, since things didn't work out, now they're going to work with him, or actually help him with what he needs help with, you know, the whole thing of what's going on. And you can read what it is in the comic book. So now Forever Blight continues in Constantine issue number 12.
Which I believe comes out next week.
Right, so really great stuff. Another book of the week, definitely 5 out of 5.
And before we go into the last two books of tonight, let's just click over the camera, so give us 1 second and we will continue. Okay, last two books this week. First one is the final issue of Forever Evil Arkham War, issue number 6. Don't worry, everybody. It's not the end, though, because there is the Forever Evil Aftermath Arkham War, where it's Batman versus Bane.
Wasn't it always Batman versus Bane?
But that...
Or?
No, not in this part.
No, I mean
but
the Arkham
that kind of spoils the ending to this book. So it's Bane versus the juiced up, or venom up, Arkhamites. And, yeah, things... You know, Bane doesn't show any fear whatsoever. He shows up, and Man-Bat shows up, takes him away, drops him in front of Arkham Asylum, and the Talons aren't fully healed yet, so they can't really help, but Bane says, you know what? Soon your powers are going to dissipate, but I do hope you stay and fight, and let there be a victor this night. And it shows Bane fighting the juiced up Arkhamites. In the end, though, Bane wins because he's Bane and he's used to not only the venom, but he has the strength. And then enters Penguin, who basically gives Bane the entire city. And all he asks in exchange is for the Arkhamites. Why, we don't know yet. But Bane says yes. That Penguin have them all except one. And that one is Scarecrow. And they actually made Bane look like the Bane from the movie.
Oh, the one that'll break you.
I'll break you, Batman. Yes, that one.
Wow.
And then Bane basically says, Gotham City, finally you are mine. And it says, next, Black Dawn. So that's obviously going, hinting towards the one-shot. But in the very beginning of the issue, Bane basically takes the bat suit that he created off and goes right back to being, you know, Bane. And, you know, really good. You know, now that Bane saved the Talons, they're basically obsolete. They're taken out literally in the first couple of pages of the issue, which I kind of found, wow, you know, they were a big, important part of this series in the beginning and towards the middle, and now towards the end and at the end of it all, they mean basically nothing to this story anymore, and it just becomes Bane versus every single inmate at Arkham Asylum, whom he easily manhandles and puts out, and then he just hangs Scarecrow as an ornament over Gotham City.
Just like on a Christmas tree.
Yeah, and that's it. And all the Arkhamites, basically, he gives Penguin the Arkhamites under the condition he never sees them again, and he's like, don't worry, it'll be like they never existed. It'll be interesting to see what exactly Penguin is doing with all the Arkhamites, and if this could lead into a future story arc somewhere down the road in the Batman books.
Maybe.
Maybe, who knows. Interesting miniseries once again. This, out of all three miniseries, you didn't have to read the most, because this is basically, this could have been, you could take Forever Evil off the title and just call it Arkham War. Basically Gotham if Batman wasn't there. Or while Batman's not, I guess they had to say Forever Evil because Batman's not in Gotham because of Forever Evil.
Yeah.
But basically it has nothing to do with the main plot of Forever Evil. Even Argus, which was actually very close to the main plot, things going on in Forever Evil, kind of skews away to its own story arc. And Rogue's Rebellion is the same thing. It has nothing to do with the main plot of Forever Evil. It's just basically a side title following the Rogues. So you don't need any of the miniseries. All you need to be reading is Forever Evil, Justice League, and Justice League of America. You don't even need Justice League Dark. That's Blight.
Yeah, but Blight kind of leads into the Crime Syndicate after the
A little bit.
A little bit, but it's getting there. I'm waiting.
But now the main story, Forever Evil issue number 6. There are some spoilers in here I will not spoil, but there may be a way for the writers to have their cake and eat it, and for us to eat it too, in a way where they get what they want and we get what we want with what we're saying. So, without giving really that many spoilers away, because I don't really want to spoil this issue, Batman and the Injustice League, because that's what I'm calling them, go into the satellite to save Nightwing. It turns out the Nightwing's attached to this murder machine, which is what Grid calls it. Several Crime Syndicate members die in this issue. I'm not spoiling this until later on in the week. Maybe during the live show we'll spoil it. If you want to hear spoilers on this book, go to the live show, but 2 members of the Crime Syndicate do die in this book, so I'll give you that much of a spoiler. And then basically either Dick Grayson dies. Here's a nice splash page, by the way, of the Crime Syndicate versus the Injustice League. Either Dick Grayson dies or a bomb goes off in this room that they're in and everybody dies. And in the end, kind of Lex Luthor knocks Batman out. And, well, he does what Batman refuses to do. And Batman kind of snaps a little bit. But Lex Luthor's saying it's not too late, and he calls Batman an idiot, and then we find out who the man under the hood is. And this will be the only spoiler I give you guys for this book. The guy under the hood was exactly who everybody thought it was in the beginning, but then we were saying that can't be, so we were all guesstimating it was somebody else, but in the end it was Alexander Luthor.
Wow. However,
I'm not done yet. There's a twist to Alexander Luthor in this Earth 3.
Oh, wow.
And this Alexander Luthor may not be as much a good guy as the pre-New 52 Alexander Luthor is, but he's not part of the Crime Syndicate, and he's not evil, so to speak.
How is it that the Injustice found the Crime Syndicate and not the other people? Like Justice League Dark teams and all the others?
They don't care. This book, you don't see the heroes at all. As a matter of fact, Lex Luthor said before the heroes came around, nothing bad ever happened on their Earth. It was the second the superheroes showed up that all the bad stuff started happening on Earth. And then when this big, humongous crisis happens with their doppelgangers, the Justice League is nowhere to be found.
But there's still the other teams.
Yeah, they're not even looking. They're not looking for them. No, there is a mention of Firestar being on in
Firestorm.
the
Firestorm or Star? It's Firestorm.
Yeah, being in the satellite. Right. But that's it. They're not going to save the Justice League of America. They've been absent all 6 issues. No superheroes except Batman have shown up in this series.
August claims that Firestorm's in the Matrix thing.
Yeah, they're all trapped in the Matrix.
Right. Which is...
So, I'm guessing in the Justice League books is where the Justice League will be freed, and it's all leading into the climactic final issue, which comes out... Let me see, there's a checklist in here.
It's going to be Justice League versus Crime Syndicate, I really want to see that.
I think we get the March checklist somewhere in this book.
Do we? I don't even remember seeing a checklist.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
In March, which is this month that we're in now, we get Forever Evil Argus 6, Forever Evil Arkham War 6, Forever Evil Rogues Rebellion 6, Justice League 29, Justice League of America 13, Suicide Squad 29, and the final issue of Forever Evil issue number 7. I don't know why they didn't list Forever Evil issue 6. This came out on the 5th. Maybe this was supposed to come out last week and it just didn't come out until this week.
Right.
So maybe it's a week behind. Who knows? But maybe issue 7 will be a week later also, so it might actually go into April, the final issue, the first week of April. We don't know.
Very well be.
We'll find out there, but I was complaining that this was a very talky series. Talky ended with issue 5. Issue 6 has action. Action galore, and it was a really good issue, and I'm just praying the final fate of Nightwing isn't the final fate. I hope that there's more to the final fate of Nightwing in the next issue, or else This series can go from being a 4.5-star story to a 1 or a 2-star story, just because of that. Because that'll be the whole premise of this series, that one thing. And that's it for this review, guys. So, looking forward to next week. Got a bunch of books. Look forward to the indie review this Saturday, the haul this Friday. Feel free to leave comments below, whether you agree or disagree with anything myself or Michael said. Your opinions on any of the books we discussed here. Any points you'd like to point out that aren't spoiler-esque. I've already had to block somebody who spoiled Forever Evil 6 before I even got my books in the mail.
Oh.
Yeah, left a comment on one of the videos spoiling what happened in Forever Evil 6.
Don't want to do.
Well, he didn't spoil it. He linked me to an article. He said, you need to read this. I go to it, and he actually put a smiley face and a ha-ha, and I'm like, okay, this is probably some stupid article. I click it, and there's an outline of everything that happened in Forever Evil. And you can't miss the whole list. That's right. It was a short list, too. It was only a couple of things. So, you can't unsee what you saw. So, feel free to leave any points that you'd like to point out that aren't very spoiler-esque. Let's not spoil it for people who haven't read the book yet, guys. And your comments will be read off and answered or mentioned in this Friday's weekly comic book haul. Look forward to this Tuesday's live show. Mike and I, after having a hell of a long weekend worth of video shooting, are taking a break tomorrow. The books in this pile that we are going to review on Comic Frontline will most likely go up on... We'll shoot them like Wednesday night,
Hopefully,
so it'll be up Wednesday night and Thursday.
My books, I'll try my best with the other books.
And we're gonna try to get some indie books up that we read digitally, maybe this week.
Well,
we'll try.
At a time.
We'll try. But anyway, look forward to a lot of stuff coming out from us today, tonight, and a few videos here, there, and everywhere spread out throughout this week
and beyond.
Oh, and way beyond. Way beyond. We're talking maybe the beginning of April beyond. And if Mike buys this Batarang, I'm going to be shocked.
Well, you never know.
So anyway, don't forget to check out Comic Related and ComicFrontline.com. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like what you see, I have 3 videos I do every week, definitely. That's the haul, the indie review, and then the Dark Avenger comic review, which you are watching now. And on occasions, I'll be doing some Comic Book Corner. I was retiring the series after Volume 5 of TMNT, but if there's a book that's reviewed on Comic Frontline that I want to review that I didn't review on Frontline, maybe I'll bring the series back here.
And we're almost, I believe, going to get that board again, because you're almost at that.
By the way,
mark.
This is, however, the 625th video on my channel, I believe, or
oh wow,
800 and something. Let's see.
Congrats.
I want to make sure I'm right though.
Videos.
It doesn't say how many videos I have.
Oh well. It might maybe somewhere.
But anyway, it's one of those. It's getting up there.
Okay.
Just trust that, I guess. I completely forgot the number I'm up to. But anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around. Until next time, everybody, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next video.
And keep watching.
Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.